Okay, it says that we're live now. And hi, everybody. We'll see how long. The internet's been off the charts crazy lately, going in and out. So if this doesn't work out, if we get cut off in the middle, what I'll do is reschedule this interview for another time. So in the meantime, while we're here, hi, Stacey. Welcome.
Good to see you, Adam.
Thank you. Good to see you too. So some of the live people will still be getting their notifications. I'm just going to talk for a moment, and maybe I'll talk about how Stacey and I met, because there's no coincidence that everything happens for a reason. And I can see my image is way behind my voice. So obviously the internet's not perfect yet. Well, we'll see how this goes. Saying a prayer to the internet gods. But anyways, Stacey and I were both in a documentary about Starseed. There were, I think, five of us. God, I forgot the woman's name. I think her name is Joan, right? Or
Joan Odelich.
yeah,
I might be
beautifully
mispronouncing.
done, very well done. And the only person that I knew is Margaret Owner. She's an angel channel in our area, and the other three I didn't know, but then um, yes, Dr. Lamar and myself, we seemed to have an infinity. And then we got to talking, and then I got invited to the source to do mediumship readings. It went very well. So I got invited again. Then we started to talk more, and we see we have a lot in common. I mean, obviously, yeah, we're both Starseeds. So, anyways, are you still with me? Are you guys still here?
I'm here.
All right, I'm here too. Even though my hands are moving on the screen, but I'm not moving my hands right now. But all right, go with the flow, right? That's what we teach here on the Medium channel. It's about the energy of awakening and going with the flow. So, anyways, this is actually the first official interview of our awakening series. So I'm getting different people on with from very different backgrounds, very different walks of life, very different experiences. The only thing that's this common thread with all of them is they've had some level of spiritual awakening. Now, in your case, uh, Stacey, did you have like a very profound awakening experience, or was it more like incremental? How did your awakening happen, if you don't mind sharing with us?
It's a good question, and people ask me that quite frequently. I gotta say, it wasn't like a light bulb moment where all of a sudden I thought I was awakened. As a matter of fact, my book's been out for a while, and there was somebody that connected with me from LinkedIn. I don't remember his name right now, but he's a producer, and he asked me how long I've been awakened, maybe 6, 7 months ago, and I said, "What's that mean?" So I really didn't even understand the terminology awakened. Because I don't really search and go out on the internet and learn all the new terminology. But it makes sense for what you guys are describing. And I would say that my whole life I knew I was different. And in hindsight or looking retrospectively, I can see the incremental steps and changes, that the progression for myself. But the experience working as a midwife in 2009, when I broke my hand delivering a baby, which is unheard of and probably never been done before, probably will never happen again in midwifery careers. I say was my breaking moment where I really had the light bulb come on and realized I had some significant changes that had to be made in my personal life, a lot of trauma, and doors in the spiritual world started to open after my hand broke. So I want to say that was probably 2009 or 8, somewhere around there. And it's been progressive since.
Wow. So it took a hand injury. Wow. There's a lot of awakenings happening between 2008 and around 2014, 2015. So that was a period where that was happening. So that's it's interesting. I like to hear everybody's different awakening experiences. Now, as a child growing up, was there any clues that maybe you were different, or maybe you were a star seed, or had a special mission, or anything like that? I mean, in hindsight.
Right. In hindsight, I knew that I didn't belong to the family I was born into really early. I knew I didn't seem to fit in. I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through 8th grade. So I had a Christian background, and I could speak to spirits as a little girl. And the first memorable, notable experience was when my grandmother died, and she came to me right after she had crossed over and said, "Tell your father I'm going to be okay. Everything is okay." And it happened a few more times with relatives of mine that had passed away. And I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and got frightened by it, didn't understand it, got frightened by it, and really rejected it. So I want to say that, from that moment, I knew that I could do it, but did not like it, and really closed it off.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. I know I've had things come up when I was a child. I mean, one of the big ones is just not feeling like I belong, basically. And that's very common amongst starseeds and people that are empaths and a lot of spiritual people, and talking to the spirits. All very cool and very interesting stuff. So, since we're on the topic of starseeds, how do you describe being a starseed? And do you have any insights as to maybe which of the starseed groups or the alien groups that you are from or a part of?
Yeah, so I started at Margaret Donor. I met a few different people over the course of my introduction to being a light worker, understanding that I was a light worker, because I've been a nurse my whole life, and nurses are healers. A true nurse calling is a healer calling. And I learned through Margaret Donor doing some past life work, what really aligned with me that I was Pleiadian, and it felt right.
I see it.
I feel it in my heart. It just seemed to wake my soul up when I didn't even know what that meant. And I had to do a little research on Pleiades and the different stars, and the different systems. And Margaret's an amazing person. She's gifted in so many ways, and she's a beautiful mentor to have, especially early on. Going through significant changes and trying to understand what's happening with myself. Vibrations in my body would change. I had a lot of buzzing and tingling, and having to learn how to turn things off and on, having spirits connect to me. So, I had like I want to say a speed reading course, like this speed course of light work with a few amazing mentors that I was lucky to have, Margaret being one of them. So, but Pleiades is clearly where I come from. I mean, in my past life work, I went right back to that energy, which I spoke about in that documentary. I went right back to my just being a little ball of light, not even having a form.
Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. I remember, I mean, I was always like, as a child, Lost in Space and Star Trek, those are my shows, Twilight Zone, anything with real witches and psychics, extraterrestrials, space travel, all that. I actually study meteorology, which is weather. It's not, space, but I've always been, I had a few choice nicknames growing up. All of them seem to lead to the one place, being very spaced out and very different. But in any event, it was around 2000 maybe. I was working at Quest Bookshop of the New York Theosophical Society in New York City. And I just kept, there's a book called We the Arcturians. And I kept looking at that book. It kept drawing me to it, kept drawing to me. And I picked it up. It's all channeled information. Like, yep, that's me. I'm Arcturian. And I kind of knew that. And so it's interesting how how you can sort of relate things into your life. Now, we have an interesting question here. Somebody's wanting to know what those beautiful objects are behind you, and we are glad that you asked, Jessica. So okay. So anyway, what are those beautiful objects behind you? I'm sorry.
We had a little voice delay. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, internet. Yeah, I see my image delayed again.
That's okay. So the bottles behind me are called Aura Soma. Aura is your energy field. Soma is your physical being. And they are the energy bottles that I work with, the color therapy that I've been using to help myself to heal, which I brought into the community, intuited by Vicky Wall, a woman from England who has since passed away. And there's lots of books about Vicky Wall, Vicky, Wall, Wall. Beautiful stories about her life. but it's part of the work that I do in our energy studio. So there are living energies behind me that help to keep me healed and focused every day.
So wait, so you have like a healing center. You're a midwife, or you were a midwife, are a midwife. You take care of people, do channeling. You know, where do you find the time for all this? Uh, it's just kind of a rhetorical question. If you want to catch up with Stacey on YouTube, there's her YouTube channel. And here's her website. So I don't know, exactly what services you offer. I know you do guided meditation. I know you do like a lot of Archangel, Mary Magdalene stuff, healings. Maybe people might be interested in knowing like what services that you provide. A lot of people are in different states or even different countries that are watching. What maybe you can do remotely for them. If that's appropriate, or if you have an answer for
Right.
that.
I think what's funny is that, so, we all have different modalities that we
Right.
kind of work with. Some people like sound healing or, crystal bowls, stuff like that. And I kind of gravitated toward the colors. And when you were just talking about the book, the Arcturian book that you recalled, and you're talking about the television shows and things that we used to watch as a children, I was really, really connected with Land of the Lost. And I don't know if you remember
Yep.
that show in the 70s, Land of the Lost, where they had the different gems and they had to put them in the different patterns in order to try to get back to their world where they came from. And
Yeah.
I never processed that until, I don't want to say just recently. I realized, I'm the one that's got the wall color here, and I put the different bottles in the positions, and I'm the one that in our community, brought the system into the Northeast, into the New York region. And I guess somewhere in my soul, that's what I'm meant to do at this point, right? Part of our mission and purpose. Why am I here? I'm a midwife by training. I've been a nurse for many years. My primary business, which Adam, is I own Sadie's Place, which I went from delivering babies to a senior center, which is really a daycare center for senior citizens that have memory issues and things and can't be alone all day. That's my primary focus. That's my baby right now, is as making that business grow in our community, because there's so many seniors out there that really we're trying to keep them out of nursing homes, and they're not appropriate for assisted livings, and the families need help. So Sadie's Place is really where my primary focus is, and I spend most of my time. But my secondary business is the wellness studio. And that's where I do my energy healing work. And I brought it into the community and virtual also. The stuff that helps me to heal is what I offer to people, right? And Orasoma is one of those modalities that I use every day. It's fascinating. I don't recall ever having a wrong message. And people ask, what is that? It's color readings. So it's basically, if you were looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, what do I need to know today, self? You're choosing the bottles, and then I'm telling you what those bottles mean, and that message will align with you.
Wow, cool. Maybe we'll do a little mini demo at the end, but before we do that, what would you believe? I know what I believe, but what do you believe is the role of people who are starseeds and awakening souls on this planet at this very special and particular point of our human history, basically?
That's a big question.
Loaded.
We're here to, I believe we all have a mission and purpose. I mean, whether or not you believe in past lives or not, I think that if you feel innately here to help serve some form of sentient being, then you are a light worker by definition. Whether you're working with the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, Mother Earth, anything. Humans. If you feel like you're here to help others in some way, shape, or form, then I believe that that's your goal as your soul, and that makes you some form of a light worker, because you're here to help and not cause harm.
Sure. Yeah. Because I know it being Starseeds, like a lot of us are channeling, their messages, really trying to help facilitate the mass awakening here on planet Earth and everything. And speaking of awakening, this is probably a question a lot of people have on their mind when I talk about stuff like that. And if you care to, would you describe like any challenges that have come up along the way in your process of awakening. And Stacy's like, okay, where do I begin? um, and how, how you dealt with it and how others may deal with things. Because, I know things come up. It's unfamiliar. Our subconscious mind is here to help us survive. So we'll always gravitate towards the familiar. So anytime we awaken, we go into unfamiliar territory. And I know for myself, my ego's like slapping me in the back of the head. It's like, don't do this. You're going to kill us. Don't do this. Basically, it's like, don't change. We need it to be this way or another. But I know I've had a lot of health issues. Then I've healed them through mind over matter and through energy. So anyway, I know that's another big question if you'd like to tackle that one. But
I think what you're asking, I personally believe that we have a duality in life. There is a light versus dark aspect in any part of life. And anytime you're trying to help others and you are a risk to the darkness by helping someone else, then you can be victimized, you can be put under attack, whatever, however, you're setting yourself up. We were just talking about that before the show started. If we walk around in life and we just mind our business and we're just taking care of ourselves and we're really no threat to anything, the dark really has no reason to bother you. It's when you become a light that shines down and can take the darkness from somebody else or can help heal shadows from somebody else is when you start to experience or can be, put into a compromising position. And you have to learn how to protect yourself. And that's something that you really, until you start facing those attacks, you really don't know what you're going to experience. And it can be really scary at times. Sometimes it's not so bad, but sometimes it can actually rock you at the core and make you want to just say, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's not worth it. And you have to decide how committed to your mission and purpose you are, because it can be very scary at times. I mean, Margaret Donor and I have had these conversations. She's had some experiences that were quite hairy. We were talking about the different shadows and seeing the grays or whatever. I mean, I've had full dragons come at me, full-faced dragon come at me and just pull me back. And until you experience it, or if you don't believe it, you say, this person's a wacko, and that's fine. Consider me a wacko. I experienced it and it scared the bejesus out of me. And you learn how to deal with it, and you learn how to try and manage your skill set. And you have to trust. You have to stand in your heart, like you've talked about. You stand in your heart and you stand in your faith and trust that your creator, however you identify with whatever creator, the light that you work with is going to help you through it and guide you. We're really not here to do it alone. I mean, we're not here to do it alone. We are a collective. We're here as a collective. And it's in our collective that we have our power. That's why meditations, the guided meditations and the things that you do, out on the internet, I do small group stuff local, which is great, but the virtual stuff, it's part of being with the collective and joining the collective energy, because that's where our power is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are community. We are, like you said, a collective, a community. It's all set up that way. And yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think, the first time, like, you're in an experience where some entity or something is like preventing you from breathing, it wakes you up pretty fast. And, you kind of draw upon your spiritual resources and your inner strength to overcome it. And I really believe that a lot of what happens to us is part of our own higher selves or our own soul testing us in a way and helping us to get stronger, because we learn so much through challenge than anything, and we grow so much more through challenge than anything.
I mean, to add to that, Adam, I really think that anyone that's out there and feels that this is part of their calling or they are awakening, it's so important to have a mentor or mentors that you can work with to help you to guide through this stuff, because it's not easy to do it alone. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone to do it alone. That's why you, myself, and Margaret and other people out there that we know are mentoring newcomers into their awakening phase to help them to be able to do this and not feel like they're by themselves and to get some guidance.
That's why Spirit told me to start a YouTube channel. It was New Year's Eve 2019. I was doing my New Year's Eve ceremony. Spirit came through, like, start a YouTube channel. The world, there's a need for it. And I'm like, what? Have you seen me on camera lately? And you want me to do what? Are you kidding me? But I took the challenge. I reprogrammed my mind. That's how I had full on phobia. And so anyway, what long story short is I answered the call and here I am. And the reason I started this is to provide community to help people with their awakening, because it's hard to go it alone. Like you're saying, we need that support. We are a collective. We are awakening together, and there's a lot of resistance to that. There's resistance from the forces that be that want us to be subservient, because then they maintain power over us. There's our own egos. There's so much. So great explanations and everything. So let me see if I have any other questions here. Where do you moving forward into the future, where do you see your work taking you? Do you have any like visions of your own personal work? I know you've talked to me, discussed a couple things in the past about that. Whether it's your work or our work with the collective or humanity, but we know that you're on a special mission. You're experiencing what you are for a reason. It's all to get us to be strong, to be in our faith and in our power. You mentioned belief, how powerful that is. It's so powerful that they did experiments with near-death experiencers, and they found Jewish people see a blue light where Christians people see a white light. Now, I'm sorry, God is only one light. It's our belief system that makes it a different color. That's how powerful belief is. So my feeling is, that there's a lot of negative energy, but I believe that I'm aligned with great spirit, with source, that which created everything. Nothing out in the universe is stronger than I am, because we all draw on the same source. So anyway, I went off on a little tangent. Sorry about that. I do that from time to time. My regular viewers know me and love me anyway. But that said, where do you see this all going, with your work? I mean, I have an idea where your work's going, but if you're able to answer that, if not, that's fine. We'll move on to the next thing.
I don't, I just coming out of Trump, being born into the life I was born into was not easy. The fact that I'm standing here, or able to be here today and to help others is an incredible, it's an incredible, notable strength that I had, that I can overcome exceptional trauma. My book is not about me patting myself on the back. It's about me trying to help share to people that we experience trauma, and it's not necessarily because we're being victimized. It's because maybe that's, if you reframe it in your mind, maybe that's what you're supposed to be experiencing as part of your mission and your purpose for your soul's journey, to get you to where you need to be in your soul's enlightenment phase, if you will, into that helping you to strengthen. And you and I were just talking about it. This has not been a good week for me. This is probably one of the biggest challenging weeks I've had of my life. And I've had some really incredibly difficult stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and feel victimized or feel like I'm, I just have to take it, I'm taking it, trying to learn from it, going, okay, God, how do I get through this? And I think that that's what I've been put here to do, to accept my own challenges, to overcome them, to maybe share them with others. And I'm a one soul at a time kind of a person, right? I was delivering babies. It was one client at a time, one patient at a time, and taking care of our seniors. It's those souls at the end of their life that are crossing over to their next phase. And it's an amazing blessing to be able to share that with them. Sometimes we have a couple of years with them. Sometimes we have a couple of weeks with them. We don't know, but just the fact that they're with us, I believe that that's my journey right now. With the wellness studio here, it's the same thing. The client, the people that come to me, they might only need to see me a couple times, and then they go off on their way. I might hear from them in a year or two. That's okay, because it's not about like a monthly therapy session. It's just somebody coming to me that might be looking for a tune-up, looking for some guidance, a little bit of direction, and I really am all about the strength and the power that I get from using the colors behind me and helping to teach people about that, right? So where's the next step? I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen, in an hour from now, tomorrow. I just have to go with the flow. I'm going with the flow. Right now, the internet's working. We're talking together. Tomorrow I'm supposed to get up and come to work, and it's all good. I just, keep pushing through.
Yeah, and thank you guys for hanging in with us with these internet issues. We wound up, for those that jumped on a little later, we wound up starting 15 minutes late because the internet just pooped out. Happy Mercury retrograde coming. Yeah, that's a perfect answer. I mean, it's true. I mean, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, and I tell people this all the time. Tell those that you love today. Tell them you love them today. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. I mean, we may wake up to a whole different timeline, and we wouldn't even know the difference. We live in this multiverse, this unlimited field of frequency that's unlimited and infinite. Very good. So so before the internet goes out again, I'm just kidding. But anyway, thanks you guys for hanging in there, and of course, the people that came in late. As soon as we end, this will be available as a video on the channel. So where is Jessica? Is Jessica still in? Because she was asking about the soma colors. Jessica, if you're still in, tell us what color you're drawn to, behind Dr. Lamar. Which color, which bottle are you drawn to? And we'll see if we can get, if Stacey can get a message from that. She's the expert here.
Let's try to keep it simple. Why don't you try to give me, Jessica, if you're there, give me a number between 0 and 100 and I'm thinking 114. I mean, 0 and 114.
0 and 114. There's about a 10-second delay, by the way. So she'll respond in about 10-15 seconds to that. In the meantime, very good. Yeah, it's. I mean, your work is so valuable. I just get the feeling like that you've been a healer your whole life. Basically, I could see you as a child, like healing people, basically. Like I can see that in my mind. And have you ever actually been? Oh, Jessica's back. She went with 111. Good choice. 111.
I'm turning my back to you guys. Can you see that, Jessica? 111. I have to look up the name for you because I don't have them all memorized. But that's a royal blue and an olive green. Bear with me. Let me look up the number and the name. So that I know you have a little delay. The colors themselves have a number, right? Or some colors have a number. Can you see me or did I lose you?
We just put you on the screen by yourself so we can see better.
They have a number. They have a name. They connect with numerology, with the tarot, the Kabbalah tree of life, and so on and so on. So in the quickest answer I can give you is that when people choose their colors, you guys are choosing. So it's a personal message, but I know the meanings of the colors based on the trainings from the courses for what Vicki will establish for the program for Aura Soma. So this bottle is Archangel Daniel. It's Archangel Daniel, bottle 111. And the olive, that very light olive, really speaks to the Holy Spirit, divine feminine, really coming into your intuition, because the royal blue is about my extrasensory perception, my intuition, my appreciation for the divine and my connection with the divine. So I would say, Jessica, that you really, I don't know you at all, but I would tell you that you really are a healer in the divine feminine realm with the olive green. And that you are really experiencing a shift in your own intuition based on the royal blue. And that's a simple answer. Obviously, there's more to it. So hopefully that'll resonate with you.
Wow, amazing. Yes. Very good. So what else is going on in the big wide world here? Have you ever had any direct experiences with alien intelligences? Like sometimes, usually it's telepathic. I know with me, but I've seen all. In fact, last night I saw 6 of them, just kind of. They were all flying west to east, and I said, these are satellites probably, but then they were going so freaking fast and changing directions, and the sun had only set like an hour prior, and they were disappearing like well before. Like the arc that satellites fly, and well before that they'd lose the reflection of the sun. I was like, honestly, I thought they were probably experimental or military ships. So they may have been extraterrestrial, but anyway, I've seen all kind of extraterrestrial stuff. I've never, through my memory anyway, I don't remember ever being on any of their ships, although some of my colleagues do remember that. I was just wondering if you've had any specific experiences with that.
I don't have any direct memories of
Okay.
being on ships, but last night I was tapped into by a few different things. One was definitely reptilian that was coming to me. So I think part of this stuff I've been dealing with this past week is really, I told you, is really revealing. I get a lot through my dreams. I like to go to sleep at night because I know that in my dreams I really can tap into more easily otherworldly beings. Not just like angelic channelings or psychic mediumship stuff, but the stuff from my own personal world. I had some really explicit dreams last night that were giving me messages from other dimensions. Definitely.
Nice, beautiful.
Not always.
No, sorry. Yeah, I was telling Dr. Lamar this story. That I have a very close friend who's ex-husband wound up getting victim of possession. It would happen when the person drank. They call it spirits for a reason. Not everybody that drinks is going to attract negative entities, but he does. And she would ask me to clear it. I'm a pretty good energy clear. I've done a lot of healing work myself. And it's not my favorite thing to do, but I can clear entities. Lord knows I've cleared enough off myself, but haven't we all, right? But in any event, so it's years, it would go on like we do the clearing, everything be fine for a while, then the entity would come back or whatever. So one time, he was, in rare form and just kind of going off, being really negative, getting very abusive. So when this entity's attached him, he would get very, very abusive and very negative. And he was taking selfies of himself, and there's night, so there's a dark window behind him. So my friend blew up the dark window, and a textbook image of a little gray was in the reflection, like staring right at him, like this was textbook. And I was like, so this is what I've been clearing. I've been clearing some freaking negative aliens. So there are negative alien groups. There are a lot of people that channel extraterrestrial intelligences, that work with them, that talk about the interplanetary wars and the interstellar wars and the reptilian races. By the way, not all reptilians are negative, but the ones that we hear about, are. And so very, very interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. Let me do one more. So Teresa Rodriguez, pick a number 1 to what was the
Dude, let's do 0 to 114, and 111 was taken already.
0 to 114, but not 111, Teresa. That's taken already, and you'll get a quickie little mini reading. It'll take her a minute or two to
I see coming up. Can you pick red? That's just to see what her subconscious wants her to know.
Well, that's why I chose her, because she picked red. So I thought she was kind of getting tied in with that. If not, all right. 419. Wait a second. What? 419? What? and somebody else is saying 111. Where did Teresa go? We might have to pick a red one for her. I don't know. Yeah, we'll do the little Jeopardy song.
Actually, you know what? I will pick one because this number was on my mind all day.
All right, so no worries, Teresa. The psychics are picking the number for you, so you're good.
Bottle 84. For whatever reason today, I'm showing it here. Let's see. 84. I was seeing that number all day today. I don't know why, but it was. So it was one of those days where I was seeing bottle 84. And this bottle is called Candle in the Wind. And it's red on bottom and it's pink on top. Right? And if you know anything about your chakras, if you have any familiarity with your chakras, your root chakras, you're red, right? So red is really about being an awakener, an earth, like that earthly grounded kind of feeling, being an awakener. It is about feeling, like an energized person. And pink really does speak to the unconditional love, nurturing, divine feminine. It's so important for self-love And I think the candle in the wind, whenever you hear that word, that expression, you think of Princess Diana and the song when Elton John had written the song about her and her passing.
Yeah, that's Marilyn Monroe, just to be clear. The
Uh,
Elton John song is
it
about
was
Marilyn
Marilyn
Monroe.
Monroe, but you guys, why I remembered as Princess Diana. So yes,
But
you're
you
right.
know what? You're right, because they
It
did
did
use
change
that
it.
song
It
for
did
her.
change
You're
it.
absolutely correct
But
about
I
that.
do agree with you. I stand corrected. It was Marilyn Monroe
So
originally.
do I.
Yeah. So the red is really about being, it's about Earth Star. It's about energy. It's about my root, my tribe, and all those things. And then the pink is about my divine feminine, my self-love, self-nurturing. So when I see that button, it depends on what position. So when we do a reading, a color reading, we have you pick 4 bottles, and depending on what position the bottle is what the meanings are. But out its surface, when I'm talking about the reds, I'm talking about an awakening or an energetic force. I'm talking about my root chakra. And when I'm talking about the pinks, I really am talking about the need for self-love, self-awareness, unconditional love for others, but more self-oriented, unconditional love for myself. And I think that a lot of people on this planet, probably like 99% ish, are lacking in self-love and self-acceptance. We have an issue on this planet of judgment, self-judgment. And, there's one thing, if you're going to ask me one thing, which just came to me when she was asking about the red, it came in our meditation the other day, recent meditation that channeled through. If we could all just stop judging other people, what a different world we would live in. If you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. I think that we are, as Starseeds, we have an obligation to help to mitigate the judgment of others. Learn to be a tribe, our own tribe of people that really we have nothing nice to say, just like not say anything. And I'm guilty of the crime just like anyone else. I'm certainly not on the soapbox here, but it makes sense that we are living in a world that is just wrought with judgment. And if every sound that comes out of our mouths resonates to the far galaxies forever and ever and ever, then we really need to be more mindful of speaking kindness and loving ourselves and loving others a little bit deeper.
That's awesome. So let me get your website back on, because Dr. Lamar does private sessions, correct? Oh, that's her YouTube channel also. So you can get some teachings there. Here we go. That's the one that I meant to flash on. So contact her. Oh, I see we're delaying. I have a feeling I feel the internet's gearing up to end, but I think we're winding down anyways. So what else? Yeah, and any interesting closing thoughts? Let me go back to the new comments also. By the way, what you're saying, Teresa's been a client and a friend of mine for quite a while. What you're saying about for her from that was very accurate. Just to put that out there.
Okay. I hope it helped, Teresa.
And then Children's School of Yoga saying she got a very similar meditation message this week. It's been a very interesting week. I'll probably do a post tomorrow because there's just been a lot of energy. I think there's been another one of these waves of either EMFs or whatever. But they whoever they are, the cabal, deep state, you don't want to lose the control. And I think we get these periodic waves of energy that's really designed to just try to squash the awakening, try to squash people's souls and stuff like that. Stay in your heart, stay in your power, stay grounded and rooted. We need a strong root chakra, right? We need to be grounded. So that red that Teresa picked, very apropos. We need our root. We need our lower triangle. That's the root, sacrum, and solar plexus to be a strong foundational triangle so that we can build those upper chakras the right way, in the proper way. With roots, not without roots. It's kind of like trying to see a vine to grow up a tree and then cut their roots off. They're not going to grow anymore. So the higher we get in our root, the deeper we need to the higher we grow in our crown, I should say, the deeper we need to run our roots. Would you agree with that, Stacey?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Yeah. What do I do over here? I work with the colors primarily. Um, my book talks about some of the trauma and drama that went through my life, but like, it's really, the message is simple. It's like, if you feel like you're stuck in a victim role, I would gently encourage you to consider reframing that for your own healing. That, I think that it's harder to be everything that you're supposed to be in your mission and purpose if you're holding on to a victim role. Doesn't
Yep.
mean that it's easy to just let that stuff go. That's part of the process of meditation and our chakra work and using color therapy and energy healing and sound and all the wonderful stuff that we have, and working within your tribe of like-minded people to help strengthen you. And if you don't have like-minded people around you, then you really have to add it to your prayer list that your creator, whomever you believe in, please bring these people around me, because I need, a network that I feel safe with, because it's very hard for light workers to have a feeling of a safety net of people around us. It's easy for us to get to trust. It's hard for us to trust, and it's easy for us to get maybe manipulated or we call it, in my family, we call it getting shamued. You get conned.
I like that shamood.
Get shamued. What can I tell you? But you can reach out to me at drstaceylamar.com is the website. The source ny8@gmail.com is how to reach out to me. Reach out through you, Adam. If you hear
Oh,
me,
absolutely. You can reach out to me, and here's the website.
we work together.
Yeah,
We
we
all
do
work together.
lots of stuff together, and you guys are looking for a safe, empowered community. We have it right here. That's what this is
Absolutely.
for, and there are no victims here. We're spiritual warriors. Everything that's right, wrong, or different in my world, I take responsibility for. I don't blame the other person. And granted, other people have caused me all kinds of havoc in my life, but there's something in me that attracted that experience. We've got to be spiritual warriors. Once we can do that, then you can assess your playing field, and there's a lot going on, and you can apply strategy. But if you're the victim, then you're always going to be in that negative loop, and you're not going to see beyond that suffering, basically. You're not going to be able to apply strategy. You're not going to awaken. You're not going to grow. So we need spiritual warriorship. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Right. I mean, if you end up, just to add to that for a brief moment, you end up on a hamster wheel. If you're on your hamster wheel, then forget about it. You're never going to be able to, step forth and grow and be bigger. So you have, I think, just in this video and the other work that you do, Adam, an amazing resource especially for the beginner person that's just out there. If you're falling into this message, you're seeing this video today, there's no accident in that. And
Right.
Trust that the universe is offering you an opportunity to learn more about yourself. My world is all about mission and purpose. The colors helped me to identify and put it into words, or put it more tangibly, what mission and purpose means. And it helps other clients of mine to understand what mission and purpose in their world means. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I appreciate you allowing me to bring that out to people, because it's, in this country, Orosoma is not really, it's kind of it was an expensive concept to bring over here. So there's only a few of us in the country that really do it. And I'm the one in the New York tri-state area. The next one that we have nearby us is Boston, and the one in Virginia. So it's not that easy to get us in this country. And certainly virtual readings are possible, because energy is energy and the colors are the colors. And I only know the training and the meaning of the colors. I don't pick the bottles, you do. That's what makes it really special and makes it really unique for you. There's other stuff we do. But, before you close out, if I could say that I'd really like to hear from people. If you guys hear this, I'd like to hear your experiences. Just shoot me an email, because I'm trying to grow and understand about other starseeds around me that I don't know. And what were your experiences? Just, shoot me a paragraph or two about yourself, and we might never meet, but it really helps me to learn about what other people's experiences are. I'm a doctorate in public health. I'm a data collector. So that just understanding and hearing that data from me is really important. It helps me to maybe validate where I've been, where I'm going. And it's interesting to me.
Yeah, you make so many good points. You'll notice here on the Medium channel, we have other guest teachers that come on here because it's not about the ego. It's not about me being the grand, what's the word, the grand poobah, I think it is, or or the grand wazoo, whatever you want to call it. And I've had other mediums on, other psychics. There's no competition. We're all here to working together as a network of light workers, wayshowers, starseed, whatever labels or word you want to put on it. But we're all here to assist in the collective awakening of this species, which is happening now. So anyway, there is Dr. Lamar's website for you. So contact her. Here is her YouTube channel. So check out her videos. And if you want to catch her on Facebook, she's got a couple of different, Facebook, sites that are there. And I think we're going to wrap it up.
Say like, follow, share.
Like, follow, share. Yes, like, follow, share. Right. So like the video, follow, share, subscribe. What else?
Shoot me an email. I'd like to learn about you. I'd like to hear things.
And shoot Dr. Lamar an email, and maybe this is a match made in heaven. There's, like as she said, there's no accidents, no coincidences. Energy flows in certain ways. You're meant to be here at this time. So, and thank you for sharing some of your valuable time with us, because I know how busy you are, and we appreciate it.
If you're talking to me, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. So it was great. It's way past my bedtime. For everyone that knows me, I'm about 40 minutes past my bedtime, but that's okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. My bedtime's usually around 2 a.m. and my wake up time's anywhere from 6 to 8 a.m. So that's me.
Only when I was delivering babies.
But that's when I actually do sleep. And the energies are so powerful now. That's gotten the harder, especially with all this negative energy trying to infiltrate, the fields and the collective. Stay in the heart. That's the eye of the storm. Hearts cannot be programmed. Only the subconscious mind can. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay in your power, and stay connected to a larger community. And we can draw on the same power and the same energy together and grow together. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I love you all. Thank you. And we are going to say good night.
Love to everyone.
Good night.